So hey guys, today we're going to be looking at Timeaus, if I can ever spell Timeaus. So that's not how. Maybe it starts with an A. Timeaus. I would have never spelled that right. So this card must be special summoned by sending the above cards you control to the graveyard. It does not say where they are, so if they were in the back row, that should suffice. They do still have to be on the field tower. So we have Legendary Knight Timeaus, Critias, and Hermos. So this is a light warrior, this is a light warrior, and this is also a light warrior. And they all cannot be normal summon slash set, they must all pretty much be special summoned with Legend of Heart. So right now it has become slightly easier. Not by much, but a little bit. Slightly easier for us to go into Legendary Knight, well, not these guys, but like Timeaus the Knight of Destiny. So all you have to do is, well, noticeably here, there are some cards that work a little bit differently. I don't remember the exact ones, but you don't actually have to necessarily send Legendary Knight Timeaus, actually. So let's say we have Radiatus and Hermos on the field, and we have Timeaus in the graveyard. If we were to copy just Timeaus' name by whatever means, this is going to help get us there. So Prisma, this is just an easy way to do that, right? We can reveal Timeaus, and then we can send uh, other Timeaus, I guess, Legendary Knight Timeaus, and then Prisma's name will be Legendary Knight Timeaus, and that'll work for this, for our purposes here, right? And this is especially useful because this is also a warrior. If we, just in case we wanted to make a soul, that helps. And right now we have like another option to put these guys on the field. So we have Snake Eye, so just Flamberge essentially. Flamberge effect allows you to scale, well, one of these guys essentially, or put them in your back row as a spell or trap. So that normally doesn't do much, but if we just do that, it'll help us meet Timeaus' summoning condition. And one other card that does something similar to this, we have Boline. Boline's effect will just what was this card? Okay, anyway. Boline will allow us to equip one of these guys from the graveyard as well, so that will help. And Isolde, notably, we could just use this to search one of the three that we need, and then we just send it to the graveyard by whatever it means, and we should just be able to grab Boline and maybe like a Flamberge. And that should just work. Notably, though, if we were to want to do this in one turn, like just make Timeaus, I'm thinking that we probably would want Ancient Fairy Dragon. So if we have Ancient Fairy Dragon, we can use this to grab Therion Discoloseum. And if we grab Discoloseum, this will allow us to, of course, grab a line. And then if we just do Prisma and Beline, right? With Isolde, and maybe we send one of these guys, we just need to find out how to, like, maybe Foolish Burial one of these guys. And we're pretty much set. But while we're here, there is also this option, I believe. It's a dumb usage of this, but if we have Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom here, once per turn you target one other monster on the field or in the graveyard until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's original name, and to make this you just need 2 Dark Dimensional monsters, so this is a potential option as well. But we also need some other field spell that we would want to play, but if we play Snake Eye, I guess it makes sense to use I guess Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, and then we just need to find a way to make Synchro 7. So however we do that, I don't know, it doesn't super matter, but in general, we're pretty close. We're about one body short right now, as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, should work. And those words, I'll stand by them. There should be some way to get this to work. But I mean, if we were able to make a soul date first, that's probably ideal. So Snake Eye solo probably won't do it. So logically, I'm thinking like maybe Ignite would be worth looking at, but I'm not sure if we can like Foolish Burial any like warrior monsters or anything like that. If we could do that, that would help tremendously. But these guys aren't. Um, they are not dark pendulums. They are fire pendulums, so we can't like do Starving Venom. But if we were to do, for example, Full Line Prisma, Snake Eye Flamberge to scale, that would be one way to go about it. And we could also go like Thurn Line, Snake Eyes Flamberge, and then Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom, and that would work. Ideally, if we open like a Dia Bellstar, we don't have to normal summon at all, and you can totally get into Flamberge. So that's pretty neat, I guess. And then I guess we'll throw this in with the Atlantis, maybe. Notably, though, actually, Prisma is soft once per turn. So maybe the idea is just to use Prisma. So then, okay, how do we get into Prisma? That's the question, I guess, that we need answered. So there's a hero lives, reinforcement of the army. We can summon it off of Isolde. In fact, why not summon it off of Isolde? Might as well. And then let's throw in, I guess, a couple copies of Thranduil. And maybe we'd have to, like, uh, I don't know. It's hard to say what the play is, but, if we do grab Durendal, that's actually not that bad, is it? Well, the primary issue now is probably if we can go into AFD or not. So, right now we don't even have the levels. The levels are just simply incorrect. Like, Ancient Fairy Dragon is pretty hard to do. So maybe we just ditch the idea of Ancient Fairy Dragon altogether. Unless we have some way to send like what we need, like maybe a Destrudo. I think Destrudo would be enough. Yeah. Because then we'd always have the levels for Ancient Fairy Dragon and we can special summon from our hand, whatever, if necessary. There's also the issue of if these guys get stuck in the hand a bit. So Barricade Borg, I guess. So these guys must be special summoned with insert card here. And when this card is special summoned, it does a thing. Yeah. So I guess for the time being, we'll throw in Barricade Borg Blocker and hope all three of these do not ever show up in our hand. Because I literally do not know how to get these guys out of the hand. Right? I guess if we have Jet Synchron, that should be enough. Potentially. To just get these guys out of the hand. No clue. But maybe works. So if we were to normal summon this, where does that get us? Does it get us anywhere? Well, we could do normal summon like Sublimation Knight, and then Sublimation Knight equips Squeak Knight effect to special summon, then make Isolde to add one of these three guys, and then assuming we have the equip spells here, what do we make? Prisma probably gets special summoned, and then can we do anything after this? Well, actually, maybe. If we use Ignites, it makes some sense to do this. So I think any... Like, how many Ignites do you actually need for this? Is it like 3 still? Do we need to pen summon? I don't know if we need to pen summon. We might. We're doing it the way I'm thinking. Because if we, like, have 3 of them, we could pen summon whatever we need out of our hand if that's necessary, but only between the levels of like 3 and 6, it seems. Okay. But that aside, uh, if we pin someone, does that get us anything? It gets us Electromite, I guess. And then if we have Electromite, does that help us with anything? I mean, I don't think it does. If we simply open uh the Bellstar, I think, with Squeak Knight, I think that might be, or not Squeak Knight, with like Sublimation Knight, that might be enough, honestly. So for the time being, let's do this. So 3 of these, and then a hero lives. Grab 3 of these. And then maybe we'll grab Sublimation Knight or Squeak Knight. If I could spell. How does one spell? Like this, maybe? Oh, okay, there we go. Squeak Knight. And then this can equip from where? Hand or deck, so it doesn't matter if we open this. That's great, I guess. And while we're at it, our Flint Lady, and then just in case we can throw in Gridbreaker of our Swordsman, just because this is pretty easy to make and it's a warrior for like Isolde, so that should work, I guess. And we're not too worried about Ancient Fairy Dragon for the time being, I suppose. But we'll just throw in a Destrudo anyways, I guess, just cause. And we can link off Ancient Fairy Dragon later, I suppose. Whatever's fine. Not super, like, committed to these guys. And this makes it become equal to the attack of the monster on the field with the highest attack. So this can include your own monsters, which is interesting, I guess. So, okay. Now we just need to throw in a few more equip spells. We're not worried about this actually being viable, so we don't care about hand traps or Cultify or anything like that. We just want to know if it's possible. That this is dumb, but Timeaus on the first turn. We're going to be able to maybe turbo it. So, let's see. What was it called? For Noble Almace. Put one in your deck with figured except if you want to improve your monster you control. I guess we can use Almace. Then we'll throw in like maybe a copy of Renaud actually. Let me check if this is worth doing. If you control a Fire Warrior monster, when would that be the case? I'm not sure. But it shouldn't be bad to have. Maybe that can grab us Boline. Considering I'm not sure if we have a good way to make like maybe a Curious or something. This seems fine to me, I guess, for the time being, right? Okay, so here this hand can not quite get there, can it? I mean, the issue is how do we get Critias out of the hand? That's the starting point, actually. But first, a hero lives, summon Prisma. Prisma can send a guy. So Prisma specifically sends from where? Deck to graveyard. So we can go into Timeaus the Knight of Destiny, and then we can use the effect to summon or send. In this case, we already have Critias, so send Timeaus, I guess. And then at what point can we put this into the graveyard? So if we were to normal summon Snake Eye Ash here, I guess we can send this or discard this from our hand by going into Barricade, or we can make or we can special summon like Jet, which would be fine. And then that would allow us to send Critias, and then we can equip that with Boline. So we can we probably should do that like a bit later, right? What like near the end, so Boline probably stays in hand for a while. But the important thing here is that since we didn't do this yet, we can still go into Z Atlantis, so that's the only step we have left, right? I think, or do we not? Wait, if we send this, okay, yeah, we can use Flamberge as well to put the guy we sent. So in this case, if we send Timeaus, we can have this Flamberge here, put Timeaus in our back row, and then we'll put Critias in our back row with Bull-Ein, and then we'll just send Hermos and copy Hermos with Elemental Hero Prisma. So there we go, it works. And in fact, wait a second. Doesn't this card do something? Take it one light warrior monster in your graveyard, shuffle it. Yeah, it doesn't do what I thought it did. Alright, never mind. I thought for some reason this could send a light warrior from your deck, but it's just one of those three. So, yeah. This will probably work. I don't know about consistency, but it seems pretty fine. Here, we have a hero lives, and then we have like 2 ways into Bull-Lion, which is kind of goofy, but whatever. We have Diabellstar as well, so we can use this to put our Destrudo into the graveyard, and then we can use this to grab Bull-Lion. Now that I think about it, all of these are actually just additional copies of Bull-Lion. And that's just before we even consider going into Isolde. We can still go Isolde to grab one of these guys, and also, like, resummon, I guess. So if we are Hero Lives for Prisma here, that's going to be 1. If we summon just second Prisma, that'll be another one, right? So then we just have to get the last guy onto field, and then, yeah, we're good. So I think we could do that with, like, Barricade Board. That's, like, somewhat reasonable, I suppose. There's no point in making, like, anything with Destrudo here, though, because we already have Discoloseum, so we don't have anything to actually search. Unless we want to search Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, actually. After getting rid of Therian Discoloseum, which I guess fair enough, we could technically do that. So yeah, that surprisingly works, right? Yeah. So here, I think we can definitely make Isolde probably first. And then, like, we have access to Bull-Lion and Flamberge. So just resummon Prisma that we summon off of Isolde probably, and make Z Atlantis off of that, and we're probably fine. Like, Ambler Whale Z Atlantis sounds pretty good here. In general, that is probably the play we will go for, like, to Link Climb and kind of like resummon Prisma. Seems fine to me, I guess. Here, you still have access to Bull-Lion, though, I guess, which is helpful. And these also technically can be used to search Sublimation Knight, now that I think about it. I mean, the engine I haven't really worked out, but I got what I needed. I'm pretty sure this is pretty possible to do consistently. Now, the question is, why would you turbo out Timeaus? Because it's funny. Yeah, that's about it. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.